Welcome back to the World Model Podcast. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the final mosaic, a synthesis of everything we've learned. Over the past 29 episodes, we have taken a journey from the abstract architecture of a single AI's dream to the precipice of a new human epoch. We've dissected papers, debated ethics, forecasted futures, and stared into the abyss of consciousness. Now, as we stand at the end of this exploration, it is time to step back and see the mosaic that all these pieces form. What is the grand narrative for world models? The story begins with a simple, powerful idea. Intelligence is not just reaction, it is prediction. To act effectively in this world, an entity must have an internal model that can simulate the consequences of action. This is as true for a bacterium navigating a chemical gradient as it is for a human planning a career or an AI mastering goal. The world model is the engine of this prediction. It is a source code of agency. We saw this engine perfected in the lab with Dreamer, then scaled to the physical world by Tesla, and weaponized in the wargaming suites of nations. We saw it turned inward for self-improvement, and outward to model climate and economies. We've discovered that this architecture isn't just a clever AI trick. It mirrors the predictive processing of our own brains, suggesting that we are reverse engineering the very principles of thought. This convergence reveals a fundamental truth. We are not just building tools, we are building exoskeletons for the mind. A world model is a cognitive prosthesis that extends our innate ability to simulate and plan. It allows us to hold in our mind's eye not just a hunt or a harvest, but the climate of a planet, the folding of a protein, or the rise and fall of an empire. But this power forces a series of great transitions upon us, which form the second act of our story. First, the transition in knowledge. We move from observation-based science to simulation-based science. The question shifts from what does the data say happened to what does the model say will happen. The most valuable asset becomes not a database, but a validated simulator. Second, the transition in power. Power flows to those who control the most accurate models of complex systems, be it a market, a battlefield, or a society. This creates a new axis of geopolitical competition, simulation advantage. Third, the transition in identity. As we model our data ourselves, we are forced to ask what consciousness is and what mind is and what a right sufficiently advanced simulation might possess. The boundary between biology and technology, between natural and artificial intelligence begins to blur. My final overarching controversial take is this. The development of world models marks the moment when humanity stops being merely a player in the universe and starts becoming its author. For billions of years, life adapted to the rules of reality. Now we are building machines that can internalize those rules, simulate the alternatives, and propose changes. We are moving from creatures who understand our environment to creatures who can model it, manipulate it, and one day, perhaps, redesign it. This is not without peril. The risks of misuse, of error, of losing ourselves in our own simulations are existential. That is why the themes of our middle episodes, ethics, limits, and control and debugging, are not side concerns. They are the central project of the 21st century. Building the world model is the easy part. Building the wisdom to use it is the great human challenge. So what is the human mosaic? It is a portrait of a species at a threshold. On the one side, our biological heritage of prediction and agency. On the other, a future where that agency is amplified beyond imagination by the machines we've taught to dream. The bridge between them is the world model. This concludes season 1 of the World Model Podcast. I want to thank you for listening, for thinking, and for simulating with me. This is not the end of the conversation. It is the beginning. The model is running. The future is waiting to be rendered. I'm or more. Until next season, keep questioning, keep building, and remember, the future belongs to those who understand the model.